Hello again. I'm here to continue on with some signs that we can look for and signs that I have personally gotten from my sons, Sean and Michael, identical twin sons, neurodivergent with Asperger's, late diagnosis, and tremor, essential tremor. Everyone should appreciate their steady hands because no medication worked. Yesterday morning, I went out to the recycle bin and reached down to get a box that was in there, and there was a penny. I couldn't believe it. Then, when I was at the store by the cash register, on the floor was a dime. Also, yesterday, I was giving my neighbor some limes, and on the way back by the curb was a beat up dime. Beat up, real beat up. So that was great. 21 cents. I also came across this. It's a hug coupon that I gave my boys. Found it in Sean's room. I came across it just right there. I gave that to them a long time ago. It says hug coupon, good for one hug, redeemable from any participating human being, free. Something I gave them when they were little kids. I also shared with you yesterday about the automatic drawing that I did in Suzanne Giesman's class and how profound that was, and how the monitor had gone dark when I started doing it, and I saw A to Z. A being for Adetra, Z for Zefek for Michael. The other day, I was in the store, not looking for any wine, but on the end there, something caught my eye. A to Z. I kid you not. I went back and bought a bottle, and it's actually great wine. A for Adetra, Z for Zefect. So that was really profound. That just happened recently as well. There can be signs like, hummingbirds are big. The day that Michael died, a hummingbird flew around his brother while he was on a walk in San Diego. And I had found those items that I shared with you yesterday. But they can be butterflies, feathers are huge, dragonflies, roadrunners. Roadrunners was a big one for Lil, who I spoke about yesterday. And I have to tell you, I was outside one day and I was filming something, and all of a sudden this beetle came and landed on my camera. Landed right on the lens. I couldn't believe it. And they're rare. You don't see beetles too often. So I took that as another sign. Saw 7-Eleven this morning. It's amazing. It really, really is. I'm going to also get into talking briefly, and this time because I want to keep the video short, but I wanted to share with you what a message to Michael, a message from Michael to Sean. Suzanne had asked me, do you have any questions for Michael? I said, what message does he have for Sean? And he said that Sean and Michael had made an agreement in the womb that one of them was going to leave early. And he said, you have this engineering mind. You can still hear me. We can still have conversations. Remove the filters so you can hear me. My boys had a late diagnosis of Asperger's, Asperger's. And they said that the Asperger's was where the mind was warring against itself. You're always overthinking. And the tremors were torture 24/7 because you would hug them and they would tremor. Oh, it was really quite a journey for 14 years fighting for them to get help. Seconds turned into minutes, minutes turned into hours, hours turned into days, days turned into weeks, weeks turned into months, then year after year after year. And then Michael being killed in the hospital, UCSD La Jolla. As I shared with you yesterday, I did a video about that. Sean suffered terribly, terribly. Just imagine being so smart, I mean, brilliant mathematically, up to the highest calculus you could go to, and still trying to go through all different kinds of schools, colleges, and then the tremors increased anxiety, and then anxiety made the tremors. I mean, and hard labor made their hands shake really bad. But they were computer wizards and were, before they were even in high school, before they were tweens, all self-taught. And they had collaborated on a computer game called Escape from Cyricon. Escape from Cyricon. Michael worked 3 years on the game engine, and Sean helped with the graphic art, and so did their other brother, helped on it. Well, when it got released on Google Play, guess what? It got pirated. They tried so hard, so many ways to make money. They really did. Even Clone Geek Computer Services. Clone Geeks because they were identical twins and they were geeks. And they were proud of it. And I was very proud of them too. And I worked very hard reaching out to organizations, which I've shared in the other videos. I do want to say that one thing I've learned with Michael Sandler and my time watching his videos, and actually he took the time to speak to me personally, Michael Sandler, on YouTube, the Angel Guy. And he called and said that Sean must really be having guilt remorse like a mofo. Yeah, it's true. He did. He always felt it should have been him and not Michael. And he really taught me how to stay centered in love. Just love, 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 love. And that's what I would just tell myself, love, love, love. Because believe me, there was furniture thrown in his frustration, his torment. There were suicide attempts, many trips to the ER. And it was rough. It really was. That's Tabsy over there. She's going to want to join me. So we went through an awful, awful lot. I realized that we can be conduits for our loved ones who can't do it for themselves. And Sean was in such dark, dark depths of despair. Didn't believe didn't have a spiritual connection, and just really was in a dark space. But instead of my getting angry or being in fear, I would just say, love, love, love. He would say, I hope that there's hell. And I said, there isn't. Where you're going is going to be beautiful. It's where Michael is. And where we go and we die, it's beautiful. And you can't deny that from all the near-death experiences, stories out there. Death is nothing to fear, and there is no such place as hellfire and damnation. A loving God wouldn't do that. And Jesus always said to be forgiving. Anyway, I just kept loving Sean up, and I was his conduit. I would be connecting with his higher power, with God, with the angels, and just our soul connection. My soul to his soul. And the night that Sean, he lived 4 years and 40 days after Michael was killed. I do want to step back and talk about Sean being in a serious car accident in the middle of the night, out in the middle of nowhere in the dark. His car was filled with computer equipment. He lost control of the car and went over an embankment. He climbed out of the windshield and walked up in the dark, walked several miles to the nearest call box. And he did that with a broken neck. His neck was broken from C2 to T1. That's the car. He climbed out of that windshield. It's amazing that here he is getting wheeled into surgery, a 6-hour surgery. He was a week in the hospital. I was like, God, why didn't you just take him then? So he could have just been instantly free of all the pain and suffering. And God told me, well, he was angry then. That happened October 6, 2023. And it was rough. It really was. The night that Sean died, I will tell you about that on my next video, because I want to keep these short. It's just utterly amazing what happened. It really, really was. I will say that Sean had worked through, by my being a conduit, and I truly believe this, and we can do this for our loved ones, because they're incapable of doing it themselves. We can do it. Everyone doesn't just have to ask for help. And he did ask for help, and he didn't get it. But he stayed strong, but he suffered terribly. So much physical, mental, emotional pain. And 27 different meds cause suicidal thoughts and actions, and that's something that everybody needs to be also reminded of, is that these antidepressants and anti-anxieties, you got to be on the lookout for suicidal thoughts and actions, especially in young adults and children. And I believe that's why there's a real increase in suicide. So I'm going to end it right here, and I will start tomorrow, my next video. And I will share that experience about Sean's passing and how profound it was. I do want to add this, that one time Sean had an out-of-body experience. He traveled in his sleep. He said, "Mom, I was with Michael last night." And I said, "Oh, really? Tell me all about it." And he said, "I was out there with Jesus, Anton, Michael, and your friend who had the Bill Gates glasses." And I was like, "You mean John Costin?" And that's what really made me know this was real, because Sean had only met John Costin a couple times. He was on my caregiving team, and he died of cancer. In fact, I think he died. He was in the same room that Michael was in down at UCSD, La Jolla. And he said, we were out there in the stars, and we were sitting around a table, flying around, and we were laughing, and we were drinking ale. And they used to brew beer, Sean and Michael. But I'm telling you, what made this absolutely be true was the fact that he mentioned my friend with the Bill Gates glasses that he had only met twice. So just another beautiful thing that can happen. And before you go to sleep, you can ask to have an experience, with your loved one on the other side. It may not happen in the way that you think it will. I always keep paper by my bed and by my toilet so that I can write down scattergrams from anything profound. I have very vivid dreams. Very vivid dreams. Okay, I'm sending everybody so much healing, love, healing energy, peace, comfort, and a big, big hug. And remember, it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to not be okay. Because when you lose, especially a child or children, you're never the same. You're never the same. Love you. See you the next time.